Hi there, Randy Orwin here with the Information School at the University of Washington. Just another quick tutorial to walk you through how to use the heading checker in Cidi Labs DesignPLUS. So I'm here on a page in my Canvas course. I'm just going to go ahead and go into edit mode. And I'm in edit mode, and by default you'll see my Design Tools bar pops up. But if it's not there, you can do Alt-Shift-D and then it will show up. So again, that's Alt-Shift-D will actually have this bar show up. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go into full screen mode so that it's easier to see what we're doing. So I just go in full screen. And now I can see that here in my bar, underneath my accessibility, I have a red exclamation point. So it tells me I've got some problems in my accessibility side. I'm going to pop that open, and we can see that it shows that on my heading checker I have 4 errors and 2 suggested fixes. So let's scan through the course, and we can see I've got all my headers in the course, but I don't really know what's wrong with my headers because it's not easy to see that. So if I click on the heading checker, we can see now that I have a number of issues in my headings on my course. And we have 2 things. We have the stuff in the yellow, means you've changed the font size inside of a paragraph, either just some of the font in a paragraph or all of the font in a paragraph. I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's look at the red sections. These are headings, and you might over here it says out of order. We have to remember that in Canvas, the first heading on the Canvas page will always be an H2, because H1 is the title of the Canvas page, and Canvas puts that on there, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I always want to start with an H2. So I'm just going to click on the arrow, and we're now at an H2, no problem whatsoever. I can see here I have an H2, but the next heading I have is an H4, and we can't skip headings, so I'm just going to move that one over. And I now have an error that says I have H6, but I have H3, so that's got to come back to either H3 or H4, so I just use my arrow, move that back over, and there we go. I have an H2 following, but then I skip to an H4. I have to have an H3, there we go. And then we notice by doing that, it changed this header. So I want to move that one back. So now I have no errors in my headers, and they're all set up correctly. Now let's talk about the yellow boxes here. If we look at this one up here at the top in the H2 paragraph, I've added some text right here that is bold, or not bold, but a resized text. There's no reason for us to do that because we want our text to stay the default text so that people can change that text and it will adjust on the fly using the browser tools. So I can either say dismiss this, I want to leave it as is, or I can just click on this question mark, and the question mark is going to go remove that change in the font. So I click that, you'll now notice that this font here is gone. Same thing when I come down to this one. This is in the next paragraph down, and we can see this whole paragraph has all bigger font. It doesn't really need to be any bigger. There's nothing special about that. So I'm going to do the same thing. I can either dismiss it and say leave it as is, or I'm just going to go ahead and click here. And now that goes away and everything is just fine. So again, make sure you don't skip any headings. Make sure you always start with an H2. Try not to change font size inside of paragraphs because that makes it so people can't adjust the font sizes on the fly when they're inside their browser. Hopefully you found this helpful.